everyone, and I hope you had a chance to rest and recharge over the holidays. I'd like to welcome each of you to OTF Connects, and thank you for giving of your time to join us tonight for the very first session of our 2015 Winter-Spring program. It's great to see so many of you here tonight and so many new teachers to OTF Connect. I'm very pleased at the number and variety of webinars that we have scheduled for you. So after the session, please check out our calendar for upcoming sessions, and do share the link with of the calendar with your colleagues so they too can participate. It's my pleasure to welcome Jacqueline Calderon, who will be facilitating tonight's webinar on beginner Google Drive. Jacqueline has facilitated many OTF webinars on a variety of topics over the last 3 years. She certainly brings a wealth of knowledge, experience, and resources to share with us tonight. So welcome, Jacqueline.
Thanks, Syria. Thanks, Louise. Sorry, I'm just answering a question that came up in the chat before I even get started there. I will absolutely give you the slide deck or the resources from tonight. There's less of a slide deck, and it's a resource page. I'm going to show that to you in about 2 seconds. It is great to see so many new faces here and so many of us here. I'm hoping that some of you got a snow day today. Half of our board did today, but unfortunately not my area, but that's okay because I've had my fair share of snow days already this year, and we could use the day before exams come. I'm going to start off at the beginning by saying if I start talking about something that you have any questions about, please, if I've assumed that someone has some understanding of something and I've jumped ahead, sometimes my focus can sway, or if I get excited by something or I see a question in the chat, I can stray. Please ask questions. You can put it in the chat, put your hand up, all of those tools that Louise showed us. Get my attention some way, and I will shut my trap and make sure that I get everyone caught up and on track. Please don't be afraid to ask questions. There are no stupid questions, especially seeing as this form of learning may very well be new to many of you. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. And another thing is, if OTF Connects are new to many of you, we're going to make sure that you have a link, and Luis always sends an awesome follow-up email the next day with links to all the resources from the evening. And in there you'll have a link to the OTF website where you probably registered for tonight, and there's a list of archived sessions, and all of these sessions are recorded, and you can go back and look at any of the other sessions as you go as well. And it's a great wealth of resources. There are some amazing educators in Ontario participating in the sessions, asking great questions, and contributing to some awesome conversations. So, and leading the sessions as well. So I'm going to start with thanks, Louise. So Louise, you'll notice Louise is usually a step ahead of me somehow. I'm not really sure. She might be in my brain somewhere. And usually has a link posted in the chat while I'm just talking about something. So if I do get distracted, she's often great by throwing links up on in the chat and is one step ahead. So if we've mentioned something, or kind of keep an eye on the chat, but we will show you at the end as well how to save the chat so you can go back and look at it later, because it can be distracting trying to listen or watch and follow the chat. But I think we've got a good balance tonight, and we should be able to manage that okay. Okay, now we're going to try that green check mark and X. And actually, let me just, so I'm going to ask I want to see who's elementary and who's secondary. So using the check mark, which is just above our names, can I get a green check mark? Which one? We'll go with elementary for green check mark and X for secondary. Awesome. Yeah, and if you can't find the check mark in X, the chat is a great place to throw it in there. By all means, you can just type it in too. Great, great. Excellent. Okay, so we have a pretty good balance, a few more elementary than secondary. It really doesn't matter with tonight's tool. I'm just kind of more curious than not. A lot of the tools tonight, I'll just try and keep in mind when I talk about some of the practicalities of using it in the classroom. Thanks for the summary there, Louise. Okay, I am going to try a web tour. So bear with me for a second while I change the screen. This is always where I keep my fingers crossed and hope that the web tour is going to work. I am going to put in a link. And I'm going to publish the URL to the chat. So what I've done is now you should, hopefully my fingers are going to be crossed. I'm going to do a check in a second. On the screen, what should come up is something that says O1 Beginner Google Drive. And I've also posted the link to that same web page in the chat. So if this doesn't end up working well on your computer, the web tour, which means showing you websites in the middle of the page here, you can click on that link in the chat that I've just put in, and it will open up the website in another browser window for you, like in your Internet Explorer, in your Google Chrome, or your Firefox. It'll open up that web page there. So we do have two possible ways to look at it. But right now on your screen, can I get a green check mark if you see the Beginner Google Drive page? Excellent. Excellent. If anyone has any problems, let me know in the chat. Sometimes the web tour will act up, especially with so many of us and with so much weather kicking around the province. I find sometimes that impacts the internet. But this is looking pretty good for tonight. Awesome. Okay, so this is the wiki. And you'll get this link emailed again to you tomorrow, and I'll make sure I put it in the chat right before you leave. On this wiki has everything, or this web page. A wiki is a web page. And I'm actually using this wiki as a web page, meaning I'm not asking, usually a wiki, the difference between a web page and a wiki is a web page, someone creates and pushes out and people get information from it. On a wiki, lots of people contribute and share on it. There's no sharing happening on this wiki. I just posted resources, so I'm using it as a web page. So I'm going to make sure that you have the link to this again before we leave tonight, and it'll come in the email again tomorrow to you. Everything that we're looking at tonight is on this wiki. So you will absolutely have that, and you'll have my email address the time we finish, and you have your email tomorrow. So any questions as you leave from tonight, something happened and you lost focus, the dog started barking, kids started crying, by all means, if you missed parts, it's not a big deal. Can I get a green check mark now for everybody who already has a Google account? And an X if you don't. And there is no right or wrong answer here. Okay, great. So I am on our wiki. Awesome. Well, see, when you go to make one, it'll tell you if your email account's already in use to make one up. I'm going to clear those responses now, and I'm going to ask another question. Can I get a green check mark from people, or a yes in the chat, from people who have a Google account through their school? Their school or school board gives them a Google account. Perfect. This is, again, just from my own understanding of what we're working with tonight, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day for tonight. It doesn't matter. Another session that I'm doing later on is called Google Classroom, and it's a different tool. It does use Google Drive as well, but for that one you do have to use a school board one. Tonight it doesn't matter at all. For Google Drive you can use Google tools with your students without any worry about having a school account. It can be a personal Google account. And on the web tour, I am going to go to, let me just get my link sorted out here. Here we go. Okay, do you see Google account on the board now? A green check mark if you see 1A Google account now. Is my web tour working? Oh, good. This is excellent. Web tour is working tonight. Happy Jackie. Okay. So for those of you that don't have a Google account, if you could click on Create Your Google Account, there's that link there, and Louise has put it in the chat where it says accounts.google.com/signup. And if you could click on that and just start making your account. Basically, you can sign up where it gives you a Gmail account, which is an email, or you can sign up with another email account already as your email address connected to the account. It doesn't matter, you just need to have a Google account. So while folks are doing that, I'm going to just kind of talk in the background here. For those of you that are creating your account, if you're not catching everything I'm saying, don't worry. Focus on getting your account done while I kind of just talk in the background for those of people that have already got their Google account created and ready to go. The thing I was just going to talk about is the idea of using Google Chrome as your web browser. I'm not sure what web browser folks are using right now, and sometimes we're limited as to what web browsers we can use at school. But in general, Google products work best on the Google Chrome web browser. Can I get a check mark from those of you that just happen to, and again, this doesn't matter for tonight at all, but a green check mark from those of you that are using Google Chrome? Yep, Gmail account's the Google account. You're good to go. No problem. Perfect. So everything will work for you tonight, I believe, on any web browser, so don't worry if you're not using Google Chrome. But as you get into some of the more advanced features and collaborative aspects of the Google products like Google Drive, if you ever run into difficulty, use Google Chrome as your web browser. And I've put on the wiki here so that you have it when you leave tonight. And I'm not going to ask anyone to do this now because it'll take too long and too much of your bandwidth. But you can download Google Chrome for free as a web browser. You have to use whatever web browser you already have on your computer. You go to that web address and you download Google Chrome and then just install it on your computer. It's quick, it's easy, as long as your internet connection's okay. It installs in about a minute. And then you can use that. And it's just like Internet Explorer or Firefox, Mozilla. And it's very similar. All web browsers are very, very similar. It just so happens that Google products work a little bit better on Google web browser because they're made for each other. Any questions about the Google Chrome web browser issue? Any comments about this? Any concerns getting Google accounts? Anybody still working on getting a Google account set up? Anything to prevent me from going on, or any comments or questions? Yes, absolutely continue on Firefox. Sorry. Yep, absolutely tonight continue with it. Whatever browser you're, okay, thanks Sue. With whatever web browser you're using right now, keep using it, absolutely. The other thing is sometimes if I start sounding like a chipmunk, I can see every once in a while if you look in our list of names, you'll see a little microphone with either yellow or red dots on it. I think the yellow is kind of like a moderate slowdown, if I'm not mistaken, Louise. And red means that the mic, you got a bit of a delay. Just the internet connection or whatever kind of had a bit of a lag. So it means that you may hear my voice speed up a little bit and I sound like a chipmunk, which is impressive for me to sound even faster than I already talk. But if you get that and miss something, just ask a question. Lags happen all the time, and you'll just see them, although it seems to be going pretty good tonight. Yep, you can use your Gmail account that you already have, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Janine. Yes, J. Kim. You just click on the sign in at the top right. Janine, do you happen to know if you have another web browser on your computer? You're probably using Internet Explorer. Do you know if you happen to have Chrome on your computer? So stay logged in here. Don't close Internet Explorer. If you see Chrome, open it up, and the next link I give you, copy and paste into Chrome. Try that. I'm going to make an assumption, Janine, that maybe, am I saying your name right? Janine, sounds right. That you're probably on a school computer that has an older version maybe of Internet Explorer that didn't update. And, oh no, okay. So I'm not sure why it's not supported, but at least it's telling us that. So everything should work tonight. And you can check
just going to jump in for a second, Jacqueline. It may be that the notification you're seeing, Janine, is actually related to the Blackboard Collaborate web tour space, which I also got the message at the top of my little web tour space that said that the browser wasn't supported anymore, and you can actually ignore that. But if you clicked on the link in the chat and then opened it in your own browser, that would be a different case. But if you're using the little web tour that we have right here in Blackboard Collaborate and you got that notification, you can ignore it. That shouldn't be an issue for you long term.
Thanks, Louise. Huh. So, how updated is your Internet Explorer? Do you happen to know, Nancy? Oh, so
Hi.
I see, Louise. Oh, sorry, go for it, Nancy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Actually, I was just talking to you about I have a newer computer, but it's not working, and Louise had mentioned that it might be associated with Blackboard, but I don't think that it is, because it's after I created the Google account that it's in a new window that it's saying that.
Oh, okay. Well, if you run into any major issues with what we're trying tonight, let me know. But I think most things should work tonight.
Okay, so I can just leave that now?
I would try it, yeah, and then we'll go from there and see how it goes. Hopefully things should work. After tonight, like once we're finished, go into this like settings or preferences or options on your Internet Explorer and check for updates.
Okay, I'll do that.
But don't do it during the session because it might cut your session out.
But my new Google account will still work?
I hope so. If not, let me know, and
Okay.
we'll try opening up Chrome in the background.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so I am going to, what am I going to do? I am going to put a link into the chat now. drive.google.com. If you can open that link up, you're probably best to open it up in any web browser, whatever web browser you have going on your computer there, and see how that goes. And you'll have to log into your Google account. So if you use a Gmail account, it'll be that account. If you use a school Google account, it'll be that Google account. If you just made a Google account, it'll be that account. Sometimes your computer might already be logged into your Google account if you use Gmail often. But how about everyone logs into that Google Drive in the background, and then puts a green check mark in the chat when they are logged in. When they get to Drive. I'm just going to turn my mic off for 2 seconds while I cough. There we go. Great. So a gathering of people have started to get logged in. This is looking good. Note you can stay in Google Drive. That's perfect. If it says something like, do you want to download Google Drive, you can click, what does it say, not now? Does anyone have that screen? Yeah, if it's asking you to if Google Drive is asking you to download something, there's an option there, not now, something like that. You can just dismiss it. However, you can get rid of it, and then it will take you into Google Drive. And I'm about to show you a 2-minute video that will give you the basics of Google Drive that will help you become familiar with what you're looking at. So if you can do a green check mark once you're logged in, that would be great. Good, good, good. Good. That's okay, Brady. Well, is there anything I can help you with? Okay, Maria, up at the top right where you see his name. Well, I mean, you can use his if you just want to use his Google Drive today to play with it. That's absolutely fine. Or you can, well, maybe not fine for him, but from your point of view, it would be absolutely fine. But you can go up there and click on his name and sign out is one of the options, and then it will ask you to sign in. You can put in your information. Good, good, okay. So there's a couple people putting something in the chat, so I'm going to wait for that to come through and see, make sure that everyone's okay getting logged in. Helena. So if you just got in right now, what we've done is we've opened up a browser in the in a window, in a separate window, and and we've gone to this drive. I'm just going to paste it again in the chat. We've gone to this web page here to log in. It should look like it has a red new on the left-hand side, Brady, and then it's going to look pretty blank, probably if you haven't used it and don't have any files in there. If it's asking you to download something, then you can just dismiss it or say no, you don't want to download it, or not now, or whatever the option is. Okay, so I am going to assume that most people are in. I think, Luis, the video I'm about to show starts on the screen. That's going to look like it. So let's show the video, yeah, and then go from there. Thanks. So everyone should have, I'm just going to clear the check marks here. Everyone should have 1B creating on the screen. Is that right? Does everyone see 1B creating and then a video? A little green check mark if that's what you're seeing. Uh-oh. Okay, my web tour has failed me. Okay. Let me do a little, whoa.
Did it change on your screen, Jacqueline?
I have like HTML coding on my screen now.
Okay, here, let me click on it and see what happens. Okay, folks, do you see the 1B creating with a video that's got a play button in the lower left corner? All right, we got a green check mark. Okay, and I will put that link in the chat in case you don't. Is that okay,
I don't.
Jacqueline?
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay.
As long as everyone else sees it, that's good.
All right, we just want everybody on the same page. So Jacqueline, you see what you need to see and everybody else sees 1B creating. Okay.
Good, okay, everyone's got 1B. If you don't, like me, then Luis just put the link in and you can open that up in another browser. Basically, on that page, there's a 3-minute creating Google Doc video. And it's just me going through the overview. What was that, Luis? Link. Want that link again? Oh, thanks. Perfect. Sorry, okay. So there's a 3-minute video there about creating a Google Doc in Google Drive. It's me, and I start from the sign-in screen that shows you, and then it gives you a tour of Google Drive really quickly, and it's going to walk you through creating your first Google Doc. So I'm going to do a quick overview here, just kind of explaining the basics of Google Drive before you watch that video. Google Drive is like an online storage place and a word processor spreadsheet. Basically, it's like something like Microsoft Office online. So when you go into Google Drive, it will have a whole big long list of all your file folders and all of the files that you stored there. You also have the ability to create and edit word processing, so similar to Microsoft Word and other word processors. You have spreadsheets. You have presentations like PowerPoint, like slides. And there's actually drawings as well. You can also store other files in there. So what this video is going to show you is a tour of the interface, and then it's going to show you how to create your first doc. I'm going to be going back and forth between the words Google Drive and Google Docs often. Google Drive is technically the storage space. Google Docs are actually like the Word documents, like the word processed files. I may use the word Google Docs by accident when referring to the whole system. Up until a couple years ago, it was always called Google Docs for the whole thing. And now the Google Drive is like the storage space, and then Google Docs are the actual word processed files. Sheets are the spreadsheets, and slides are the presentation files. But I am going to shut my mouth for about 3 minutes and, let me check how long that video is, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. And hopefully I would like everyone to watch the video on your own computer and then come and give me a green check mark when you're done, or let me know in the chat so that I know when everyone's finished, and then we'll do questions and give you a couple seconds to try and create your own Google Doc. Okay, can I get a check mark before you go just to let me know that you understand what we're doing? That what I've said kind of makes sense? Okay, looking good. Okay, I'm going to clear those check marks. I'm going to be quiet for 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Everyone's going to watch that video, and then we'll come back and give a check mark when you're back. Thank you. Great, so a green check mark when you're through, just so I know I'm not disturbing too many. Thank you. Or yeah, or just say done in the chat. And while you're waiting for, just we'll wait a couple more seconds there, if you want to throw in the chat any questions, comments, or put your hand up if you want to grab the mic to ask a question, just about that kind of basic creating a doc. Any thoughts, any questions, comments? Okay, so looks like most people have done that. I'm going to clear the check marks. Who thinks they could create a new Google Doc from their file now? Let's take 2 minutes and just let folks click the red new button and see how it works. If you have that open, your Google Drive open on your browser, if you want to just kind of click the red button and see if you can't get a new document to open up and just play with it, and you can just close it after if you want, but ask questions. Any comments about that? I'm glad the video was clear, excellent, and you'll have access to that once you leave tonight. It's all on that wiki that you'll have forever and ever and ever. I'm sorry there's a few of you getting kicked out by the looks of it, like in and out of the room. That must be frustrating. Awesome. Awesome. I can't wait for the sharing part in a couple of seconds. That's true, Louise, when it just kicks you right out and you log right back in. And it just kind of jumps ship for a second. Yay! Lots of docs being created. You are now you've just made your very first Google Doc, Google Drive. I find that sometimes people get a little excited by that because we hear, or at least in my world, maybe your world's a little bit different, but I hear people talking about Google Docs and Google Drive all the time. And until you get a good handle on that, that can just seem like this enigma, seem like this big scary place. But now in half an hour you've gotten a grasp. First of all, you've learned a whole new technology that is learning online in a webinar, which is huge, and now you've made your first Google Doc, all in half an hour. Pretty impressive, I think anyways, but I'm a bit of a geek, so. Okay, any red flags, any questions, any, oh, but don't say that, Jeff. I'm having a bit of a love affair with OneNote. Microsoft OneNote right now, in addition to my Google Drive. Of course, as I said, I'm a bit of a geek, so I need everything. But I want it all. I want access to all of the different tools. Any red flags? Anyone struggling to get a Google Doc created? I do have a session on OneNote later on in the session, and I'm hoping that when that time comes, I'm going to have lots of math work to show with my students as examples. Oh, good. Okay. I'm not seeing, or at least no one's letting me know that they're pulling hair. Yeah, oh, we're getting there, Maria. Don't you worry. That's where we're going. We're just going to do it in stepwise. Yep, no worries. That's because in my mind, that's the whole reason why we want Google Drive. I mean, it's nice to have all your stuff online so you can access it from any computer, but that is great. Okay, I'm going to grab our next step now. I'm picking up what you guys are throwing down that we want to get going on this. And I'm going to try the stealing the web tour from you there, Louise. See how that goes. I'm going to clear the check marks. You get a check mark if you see 1C uploading. Okay. I'm going to try something, Louise.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
I'm just going to go whiteboard back to here. Yeah. Okay. Anyone see the 1C uploading now? Oh, some red, some green. I'm seeing more green than red. Oh, good. Jeff's got it. Syria's got it. I'm going to post the link in the chat as well. So if it didn't show up in the middle of the screen for you, you can click on the link in the chat. And there's another video. So I mentioned that Google Drive also stores stuff. And we've just created a Google Doc, like a word processor, but you can also upload other files into it. So why don't you watch this 3-minute video. I'm going to clear the green check marks again, and I am going to be quiet for 3.5 minutes and watch this video on uploading files into Google Drive, and then we'll come back and ask questions and go on to, let me just check what our part is after. We're going, yep, I thought so. We're going into sharing right after we do uploading. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet now, and everyone's going to watch the uploading files to Google Drive video. That was, so yeah, I didn't put that in the video kind of intentionally. That's a good question. The max storage space, if you're on a school or a board like Google Apps for Education, there is no max. It's unlimited, and that's brand new that they've done that. I believe, and I will check this to make sure, I think you have like 30 gigs with the regular Google Docs, but let me just check that. I could be wrong. Google Drive storage. Oh, mine tells me how much I'm using. I think you have, is it 15 gigs, sorry. So lots of 15, lots of space. Yeah, no worries. And that's with a personal account. If it's school, you have unlimited. They don't cap it anymore. They used to at 30, but not anymore. I think it shows up as like a terabyte. So I mean, you couldn't do like server streaming from your Google Drive, but you can store anything you need for educational purposes or your hobbies, hockey teams that you run, whatever. You've got no problems with that. So that uploading files and folders, that was a little, it's a little bit of complicated steps, and we're not going to practice that right now because it might take up too much bandwidth for all of us to be uploading files to our Google Drive and try to stay in here. But it doesn't impact the rest of what we're doing tonight. I just wanted you to know that you can upload files into your Google Drive and that this video is here now for you, and you can come back and look at it any time when the time comes. Because you might not have need to do that right now, but down the road, all of a sudden, one day you're going to want to know how to upload a file, and then you're going to be like, but that's a Word file. I could convert it, or I don't want to convert it, and that type of thing. Is it a safe storage space? So that is going to be debatable. Yes, it's safe, but yes, it's online. So that is going to depend on what you're storing in there. And it also depends if you're using a personal account or your school account. Not that it really makes a difference because Google is hosting it anyways, but there are different ways they treat the data coming through school accounts. So I would check with your board to see what you're allowed to store. It's technically a password protected place, but I wouldn't be keeping, I don't keep student contact information in a space like that. But it is safe. Like no one else can access it unless something was seriously hacked, which any school network could be, just the same as this could be. So I don't store sensitive material on there. I might store all of my report card comments, but without personal identifying information, if that makes any sense. So, I mean, it's password protected, only you can get in there unless it's fully hacked. Yeah, and it's tough to describe, but it also depends. If your board has given that to you as your storage space and that's all they're providing you, then they're expecting you to use it. So it's different in every board as well. So I'm just very careful with mine. But I do store lots of stuff in there that I wouldn't want people to see. I just don't put all my contact information for students and that type of stuff. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so now we're on to the magic of Google Drive, the absolute magic. Now you've created one. Now you know how to find at least what you need to find to upload files. And now we're going to look at the sharing aspect. So this is the longest video of the lot. And it covers our next 2 sessions and a couple activities that we're going to do here. And I am going to see how my web tour is acting. I am going to clear all the green check marks. So does anybody see 1D sharing? Not so much. Some of you do, some of you don't. Okay, I'm just going to delete the screen. Sorry for those of you that did get it. I'm going to go back to it again. How about now? Anyone see 1D sharing? Oh, that's more promising. More green than red now. So some people were asking about the making the screen bigger. So I was playing with it during that session. Right now when I look at this page, do you see those 4 arrows right to the left of Vimeo? It doesn't work or at least on my computer it doesn't, in this web tour right here. So we're going to post, I am going to post the link right there. If you want to open up that link in another web browser, then you can click that little 4 arrows. Oh, did it on yours? Oh, fancy PCs. Okay, my awful Mac didn't let me expand right within it. I don't know, I'm trying again, it didn't work for me. Okay, well if you can click those little and make it bigger, that's great. If it doesn't work like me, then I have to open it up in another browser. And I just click on that link to open it up in my browser and then it works, no problem, just not within. Oh, good, okay. Well there you go, for those of you that I think I'm being mocked. But that's okay. I use a PC half the time now, Louise. Absolutely. This wiki is put in order, 1, 2, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like it goes right through every page, and you'll have the link to go back to this web page, and all of these are right in order. So you can go back to this anytime you want. So please, please don't fret about that. And I heard a hand up. Lynn, did you want to grab the mic? Oh, okay. Okay, so let's quickly just explain what this video is about. This video that we're going to watch is about sharing Google Docs. So the beauty, the magic, the love affair with Google Docs or Google Drive is that you can share a Google Drive file. So that file that Google Doc that you created, you can share it to people and they can edit it as well. So instead of emailing a Microsoft Word file back and forth where someone adds something and then you have 10 versions of the same computer or same file on your computer, this lets you share it or edit in real time and share. So this video is going to go through the sharing and the editing rights, and then we're going to practice accessing some of them. And absolutely, you can go through this, and that's what exactly Louise. That's why I created that. Google Drive is lovely and wonderful once you get into it, but it is a lot to take in. So this resource is here for Eva and Eva. Okay, so let's watch this video, and then we're going to play with a few different files that have been shared in different ways. When you do share a Google Doc or a Google file, you can share it essentially in 2 different ways. You can email the file or the link to the file directly to somebody, or you can copy the link to a file and share it publicly. So I am going to be quiet, and this is the longest one. We're going to watch this for 4.5 minutes this time, and then we'll come back and do some kind of playing with them and practice with them. I'm going to clear the check marks so that when we come back, we can check off that we're back. All right, let's watch that video. Okay, so the sharing seems pretty complicated when you first get started. Just going to see if we can get a few check marks before I start talking too much. Awesome. Thank you, Louise. So that little trick at the end, Helen, I'm hoping if I said your name wrong, I'm sorry. When you hover over the video, do you see the 4 little arrows to the left of Vimeo? See the 4 corners, the little arrows that go to the, if you click on that, does it expand? Okay, yeah. For the next one, and the other ones are a little less complicated once we get going. The sharing part is the most complicated part, but those little arrows should make them go a bit bigger. Awesome. Okay, so that bit.ly, that URL or like the web address shortener could be magical. So that big, long, crazy link, this is what I actually shortened it to, what I've just put in the chat now. And that is our, oh, let me just check. Yep, that's the right one. This is a Google Doc that I've created that is view only. So if you can click on that, I'm going to clear the check marks again. Can I get everyone to click on that and then tell me if a Google Doc opens up for them? So do you see like a table and that kind of stuff? But you can't edit it, can you? I'm assuming I set my settings right. I don't think you can edit it at all. Please let me know in the chat if I'm wrong. So that's how, if I had for my students just information to share with them. Maybe a list of resources, a list of links. That's how I would put that link on the board with a much smaller link, or put that in, depending on if you have an online classroom, if you like use Edmodo or an online place. Okay, Jeff, this recording will be there tomorrow and the wiki will be there. Oh good, I can't wait to see it for Google Classroom. Thanks. So if you have that link, that bit.ly link, so this one right here, that's something you can effectively write in the board and students can type in, or you can post a link on a school website or a class website if you needed to. And if I had set my editing rights to view only, then that is what they see. They basically see a website with information, right? It's a Google Doc, but they can't edit it or change it. I can change it, and then when they go to it, it's changed. So it's great for things that might change over time, because you don't have to keep resending new links. You can give them a link to your document, and then you can go in and change it, and then when they go there, it's updated. So there's a lot of benefits to when you would use that. I'll get to you in a second, okay, Maria? I'm going to answer that in a second. So does everyone understand the view only part of sharing? Does that make sense? I'm going to clear those check marks again.